So rent increases in Turkey, how does that work? Well, guys, it's actually pretty simple. We have a golden rule, a golden law, okay? Um, we go by TÜFE. The law says that your landlord can never increase your rent by more than the annual TÜFE rate. And TÜFE is basically an abbreviation in Turkey that we use. It stands for the annual inflation rate. TÜFE, Tüketici Fiyat Endeksi. It's basically just an abbreviation for the annual inflation rate. Your landlord will never be allowed to increase your rent by more than the TÜFE amount, by more than the annual inflation rate in Turkey. It can be increased by less than that if the annual inflation is, say, 20% for that year. Your landlord can increase your rent by 15%, 10%. It can be less than that, but he cannot increase it to 25% by 30%, 40%. He's not allowed to do that by law. Even if your lease agreement says that you agree to an increase by more than the TÜFE amount, even if you agree to a 250% rent increase year on year, your landlord is not allowed. The law actually overrides the lease agreement, and your landlord is not allowed to increase your rent by more than the TÜFE amount, by more than the inflation rate. Okay. If there is no paragraph about rent increases, if your lease agreement has no bullet point that says, okay, so you as the tenant, your rent will increase by such and such amount, then in that case your rent actually doesn't increase. Okay, you're lucky. Consider yourself lucky. Almost no lease contracts have a missing rent increase clause. If yours doesn't have one, then consider yourself lucky. Your rent will not increase. But in that case, your landlord, after 5 years, and this is an amount that's fixed by Turkish law, after 5 years, your landlord could actually go to court and say that because the property values have increased over the course of 5 years quite dramatically, he might request a rent increase through the court, and the court system will actually send in an expert witness sort of guy who will come and take a look at at your property and the neighborhood, the town, etc., and will go back to the court, and he and the judge will together determine a new rent amount for you. In those cases, they usually don't give the exact amount that the landlords want, because the judge will have to look after your interests as well. If it's an astronomical amount that the landlord is asking for, then of course the judge will not agree to that. In most cases, if it's a reasonable request, judges tend to actually grant about 80% of that value. Okay, so which is pretty reasonable. And that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, again, it's your landlords. It's pretty simple. Your landlord cannot increase your rent by more than the annual inflation rate in Turkey. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. And if your lease contract doesn't have a clause specifying by what rate, by what ratio your rent can be increased, then your rent will not increase for at least 5 years. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. See you in the next one.